We're talking about marriage and who wears the pants and such topics.
Who wears the pants?
Yes, and your advice was...
Yes, that's simple. Whatever man thinks he wears the pants is ready for a rude awakening. I don't know of too many men who rule the roost like they can.
And what was it about dictatorships, though? Your advice to Jim about benevolent?
Oh, yeah. You only hope, and I'm speaking mainly to Rob, but your only hope is to find a benevolent dictator.
And hopefully for Jim.
Yeah, and probably in your sister's case that her husband has probably found a benevolent dictator, so he's probably going to be okay. But boy, if you find a real dictator, some of these little bitty girls can turn into some really strong little women, you know, and it just kind of happens overnight, so good luck.
Hi, I'm Chris Baltrop. And I got some advice for future husbands.
Yes.
The key to successful marriage is yes, dear.
And how about the advice for the wife?
Teach husband to say yes, dear.
All right, fair enough. Very good.
Simple, successful advice there.
Alright. Now the garage. Alright. Yes, Mr. Rob.
Mr. Nathan,
Hello, Melissa.
you have any advice for the bride-to-be?
Yes, I do.
Please do tell.
As being a married man for more than 4 years now, one thing I've learned, you should always obey your husband. It'll go better for you.
So the pants are to be worn by the husband?
By the man.
All right. So that would be advice for Jim as well, then?
Yes. Jim, don't take any flack from her.
So do you wear the pants in your family?
No.
No. So wait a minute.
No, I wear one leg of the pants.
Oh, okay. So it's more of a partnership, huh?
Yes.
Now that you're a married man, perhaps you can give some advice from the other side. Any words of wisdom? How long have you been married now, babe?
Let's see, 1 year, 8 months, and
That's right, it's been over a year.
6 days.
Wow, down to the day.
Well, I happen to know that I got married exactly 8 months before my birthday, so my birthday was 6 days ago. It's the only time of year I'm that accurate.
Your birthday was 6 days ago? Well, no, we did not celebrate. Did we?
Well, I had people over. It was mostly Teresa's family,
Okay.
so I didn't want to, have a clash of worlds right there
Sure.
at my house.
Yeah, that would have been awkward. So what's it like being married, living in an apartment? Because they'll be in an apartment for a while.
Oh, it's all right. It's actually easier because there's a lot of stuff you don't have to worry about in an apartment. It's just if something goes wrong, call a maintenance man.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to be there for them when they get there. You don't have to worry about the fact that the building's falling apart.
Of course, now you do.
That's right.
You're the maintenance man.
That's right.
Gabe, we sprung a leak. So any words of wisdom about the married life?
Let's see.
What have you learned so far?
Sometimes it seems like things are just not going so good, but it's usually a very temporary effect, and it's in moments when you lose perspective and get focused in on something very small that's really insignificant, and So if you just don't worry about it too much, and later you gain perspective, and go, oh, well, I don't have to worry about fixing that.
Do you have any advice for her?
I got some advice here.
I have learned that
Do whatever he tells you to do and have a good marriage.
Okay. Charlie, how about you?
Now for the real thing,
Yes.
he'll do whatever you tell him to do.
So who wears the pants in the family?
Well, he wears the pants, but she wears the panties.
Who wears the pants?
Who wears the pants? He does, and the wife tells him how to wear them. Well, okay, I've got a little joke.
All right.
The couple went on their honeymoon, and under his father's advice, on his wedding night, he pulled his pants off and threw them at her and said, "Put those on." She says, "Well, these won't fit me." And he said, "That's right. I want you to remember that." So she goes in the bathroom and sticks her head out the door and throws in her panties. And she says, "Put them on." He says, "I can't get into these." And she said, "That's right, and you won't either until you change your attitude."
She's pretty. She looks like you.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people say that. I don't.
Y'all look like brother and
They
sister.
look like brother and sister, yeah.
Aw.
Yep.
So do you have an opinion on the responsibility? The
Well, you always make him think he's right.
okay.
Yeah. You let him think he's right
Okay.
all the time. But they know better.
They know better.
They know better.
The wife or the husband?
No, the guy knows better, but you just let him think he's right. You
Oh,
let
I
him
see.
think and
Okay.
believe he's right. You just, yes, honey, but they always know you're right.
Do they ever admit that?
If they're a good guy, yeah.
If they're a good guy. Okay.
Yeah, mine's a good guy. Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm.
It's
Okay.
third time for me.
Okay. Any other
Just
last
good
piece of advice?
luck and fight fair and just don't go to bed mad
Oh, yes, that's good.
and just fight fair and be able to say what's on your mind too and have each other hear what's wrong. Not just fight but hear and pay attention to what's wrong.
Nuggets of knowledge.
I talked to Charlie earlier, by the way.
Oh, you
Charlie
did?
and-
I'm
Charlie
sure
and,
he had some.
And Alex. Yeah, he had some interesting things to say, some
Yeah.
theories about who wears the pants in the family.
Oh gosh.
Yep. Who would you say should wear the pants in the family?
Who would I say should wear the pants in the family? Well, you should always let the guy think he's wearing the pants in the family.
Okay, so give the illusion
The
that he's in
illusion.
control.
No, by all intents and purposes, I think it's pretty much a 50-50 thing. I really do. But there's a lot of times I think where the guy usually gives in. Yeah, to keep things,
Yeah,
nice.
to keep things civil.
Yeah, keeps things civil. Yeah. So,
Right.
but no, as long as you love each other, as long as you stay friends, I think that's really one of the most important things. Stay friends and have fun.
All right.
Yeah, you only go through it once in life. Have fun.
All right. Cool.
So-
How long have you and Charlie been married?
Well, we've been married for 7 years, but we've been together for 14.
Cool.
So far so good. It's
Yeah.
been pretty good.
Cool.
So hopefully she'll do just as well the first time, not have to do it twice like I did and Charlie did 3 times. You get better at it as you get older. So
Practice makes
maybe
perfect.
this will help. All these little talks.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's what I'm hoping
Maybe,
for.
maybe this will help. Tell your sister I wish her the very, very best. And hey, if she ever needs advice, she knows where we all are.
That's right.
Oh, you mean like on video?
If you want to be,
Oh, no.
all I have to do is press this button, and you can say,
Yeah, say hey. You don't know me, but
You know, yeah.
She's a nice person.
You have anything to say?
She worked here for a little while.
My marriage didn't work out. She don't want.
Tell her what not to do.
All the better.
Get married. Don't get married. Men suck. You know, men are like big babies. They, they're worse than kids. They're worse than kids. When they get sick, they just. And God forbid you're sick, because, oh my God, no, you can't be sick for one day.
Nope.
You know, because they just, you can't.
So who wears the pants in the family? Who should wear the pants in the family?
Out of a husband, or are you talking about
husband
me now?
Wife. Yeah.
Husband and wife?
A husband and wife. Any? Who ought to be really pulling the strings, calling the shots?
See, I'm different from most women, though. See, I mean, I always thought the man should. I always figured I'd be at home taking care of my kids and wouldn't be working. But my marriage didn't work out, so
So you're the responsible one.
Oh yeah, now I am, because I'm taking care of my 2 kids. But when I was married, I thought he should have. So I mean, I'm different from most women. Most women tell you both, or I should. But no, I don't think that way.
Oh yeah, let's hear David. You're hot.
Who's wearing the pants in the family?
Well, who does wear the pants?
Who does, and who ought to?
The wife always has the pants in the family. She takes care of everything. But I'm going on 10, 11 years now.
11 years.
So,
congratulations.
it just takes a lot of hard work.
Yep.
But it's fun.
So do you wear the pants in your family?
No.
No.
She lets him think he does.
No, she doesn't even let me think that.
Really?
I don't want to wear the pants in the family. It's a headache.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not even desired.
No, I don't care to.
All right.
She was probably the most overqualified person we ever had in the back. I thought she had a great career here.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she worked here, what, for a summer for us? No, was it summer or was it a winter?
It was only like 2 weeks. It was in the summer.
Yeah.
It was about 2 weeks.
Sweet girl. That's about all I remember. Sweet girl.
I thought she was going to be a lifer here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was ready for it. We were going to paint
Look at all the rest of
I was ready
us.
to paint her name on the parking spot. And she just never came back.
Well, with any luck, she'll come back and visit.
Okay, well, come back and visit us.
All right.
All right.
Good luck with your marriage, sweetie.
You guys have any advice?
Oh goodness.
The best advice I ever got was, yes, dear. That's the best answer.
That's basically what David told us too.
And I think it works both directions.
Friday's theme was who wears the pants in the family.
I do in mine, so. Mine are just bigger.
Depends on what day it is.
3113, please.
For the record, I don't do interviews without compensation. Recorded interviews.
My sister is getting married in December, right?
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Have you ever seen my sister's?
Congratulations to you.
And what was your question, Marty?
What is the concept of marriage?
Concept. The concept.
The concept. I think I asked you a question once. I asked you, how come your wife doesn't get upset at you for staying at work so late, playing racquetball with your friends? And you explained to me that, well, there are certain rules that...
There are certain rules. You've got to, the man has to wear the pants in the family. That's just kind of a broad-based term.
This is good advice for Melissa. That's what she's
Really? See, now I would think that this sort of advice applies to everyone but one sister.
That's the overlying concept. And then on matters such as money and all that sort of stuff, career and all that kind of stuff, the mother should be available to raise the children. Now, if she wants to work before that or after that, that's good. That's all fine.
So the mother is not supposed to work. Let's say your child turns 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, yeah.
The mother still is not supposed to work?
That's correct. Outside of the home.
Why is that? I mean, what if there's a shortage, a financial shortage? So?
See, you have to put family first.
Of course, family comes first, but if there's a financial shortage, there's going to be more problems.
Like in the family?
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say that my answer to that, most people in the United States, at least, are not hurting. It's the matter of driving 3 cars versus 2 cars. It's a matter of having cable versus not having cable. Internet connection versus not having internet connection. On the other hand, the dividends, if you will, when we're speaking of finance, the dividends that you receive from at least one half of you staying home, taking care of those kids and making them the number one priority, pays off a huge amount in the long run.
That's true. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but
Plus.
To me, I think if there's a financial shortage, then the mother have to work too.
I absolutely agree that you have to have a certain amount of cash flow. Every family needs a certain amount of cash flow. Now part of the rationale for the wife to stay at home is to save a lot.
What do you think, the wives spend a lot of money?
No, I'm not saying that, but I think it is counterproductive for a wife to stay home and still spend as much as a working woman. The assumption here, and it's grounded in fact, is that the working woman will spend more than the housewife.
So, Minnie, do you have any advice?
What does the working woman say here? You're the working woman in this conversation.
I'll say 50-50.
50-50 on what?
The wife have to do 50%, husband have to do 50%.
50% of changing the oil, 50% of mowing the lawn, 50% of painting the outside of the house, putting the roof on,
No, what I
feeding
mean,
the dogs.
50-50 is like they have to
Inside
do
the house?
50% of the work and the
Precisely,
other half.
mowing the lawn, changing the oil.
Well, if the husband mows the lawn, then the wife can do something inside.
Oh, a partnership, for instance.
Yeah,
Like-
everything
like-
should be shared in 50-50.
Precisely. The man goes outside the house, brings home the bread, the wife cooks it.
Cooks it.
There you go. That's precisely what I'm saying.
Father have to do 50 and the wife have to do 50. That way the kid will know they're getting attention from both the parents, not just one.
I agree.
Two
It's a
people.
partnership. It's a
Yeah.
partnership. However,
I mean, if you
in my particular range of my particular piece of advice is that hubby tends to handle most of the stuff outside of the home. Wife runs inside the home.
I'm trying to break the medieval times here.
I submit that my way works very well. It's medieval times. It's been going on since medieval times up until about 30 years ago. It was the norm. And those people seem to know something. They did fine for...
So perhaps you guys are actually agreeing then. Maybe you're saying the same thing in different words.
I think there's...
Or you're conceding
I think there's...
equal parts. Is that possible?
I think I'm right, and then if she's coming around my way of thinking, then that's good.
Is that true, Minnie?
Well, he is right in some cases.
In some cases.
In some cases.
Okay, what cases am I wrong?
Well, I cannot pick each and every...
Come on now, let's be specific.
He's a bulldog, Minnie. He's not going to let up.
He's recording this too.
I know.
So you've got to convince this woman on the other end of this camera.
Now's your chance, Minnie.
No, I'll tell you privately. How about
I think the unknown thing for the husband out there, the groom-to-be, if you will, is you got to establish this stuff right off the bat. If you don't get it done in the first couple months, See, wifey knows. Wifey always knows that there's this subtle little battle for who's wearing the pants in the family. Bam, 6 months into it, the hubby finally figures out, but it's too late. He's already seeded all this ground. He doesn't go out with his buddies anymore. You know what I mean? You've got to throw, the guy's got to throw down and say, man, I'm going out 1 day a week with your own buddies or whatever. Wifey usually tries to put a stop to that. And they use those feminine guiles to do that. And hubby needs to stand up to that. And he needs to understand he's in this battle of wills.
Any final thoughts, Minnie?
No. I'm going to still stick with my viewpoint, 50-50.
50-50, all right. And Marty, it's more like...
I'm all for the 50-50. It's just my line of demarcation is probably different than her line.
I'm joined tonight by Robert and Cindy Brown, to my right, and they, of course, lead our Bible study group for the singles mini church at RVF. Robert, Cindy?
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. I know this is unfair to them because they only got a glimpse of you that one night when you visited 2 summers ago, but I thought it would be really cool because and we also are greeted by Booger here, their cat. I really look up to Robert and Cindy, and I appreciate all their hard work over the years with our group, and so I thought it'd be really cool to add their advice, their wisdom for you and your future husband, Jim Dietz. So I guess we'll just start off with any advice you guys have. Any wisdom?
Probably the thing to remember is that don't be afraid to share everything with each other. I think that so many couples go into marriage thinking that they have to watch what they say or they have to be so careful, but if you don't start off just setting that pattern of trust with everything that you have to share, I think that is an important part of being able to communicate properly, is that if you can't trust them enough to share your deepest thoughts or your deepest feelings, then you haven't built that foundation. But if you can start off with just being able to just trust each other no matter what, and to share those feelings of whatever you're feeling at the time. I think that's really important.
And I agree exactly with what Cindy said.
Is it a political statement?
Yeah, it is. But I feel too that, like she said, communication is involved in that. And I know Cindy and I, we've had some communication problems in our lives, in our marriage, and it wasn't until we got that settled and just being able to communicate and tell each other that we really do love each other. And I mean, that's the main thing, is that you communicate.
And honesty.
Right.
I mean, being honest with each other, I think is very important.
I think it was it last year or the year before that we were going through a study called the love languages.
Mm-hmm. 5 love languages.
The 5 love languages. Do we remember what they were? I'd have to think about it. The languages of love were gift giving.
Gift giving. Touch. Encouragement.
I've only contributed 1. Robert, can you remember any? We'll have to get out the book.
The book's laying over there.
As a matter of fact,
yeah,
we're going to give you a copy of the book. It's our copy, so we just started going through it again with our mini church. So there's 1 chapter that we wrote a little bit, but that's okay. You can read that. That's
It'll
fine.
probably be some underlying stuff that's good.
Yes, it'll have all the right places and passages highlighted. And all
well, it's I looked through there. I hadn't done too much in it, so
okay.
so anyway, but we wanted you to have a copy of that.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Melissa's,
time.
the reason I thought of that is Melissa's definitely a quality time person.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So if you can figure out each other's love languages from the very beginning, that really is helpful.
It helps. Because we really didn't study this till a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and we got married 28 years ago, so it would have helped us a lot if we would have known these things
from the very beginning.
20 years ago, it would have helped.
It was very practical advice. Yeah.
Because it's like you expect what your love language is, you always think that's the other person's love language.
Yeah, and that's not always the case.
And that's not always the case, because you think you're telling them you love them, but then you're not. Because
like I tend to be a gift giver or a services person. I like to.
That's the
give
other
my
one, servicing.
Yeah.
Rob forgot what kind of person.
Who am I? I guess in closing, the theme from the other day that I was using at work was I was asking people specifically who should wear the pants in the family, and I got an array of answers. So I'm just curious, what's your advice, or what's your opinion on the matter, Robert?
Well, I really feel that Jim should wear the pants in the family.
Jim?
What's his name?
Yeah, his name is Jim.
Jim. Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about
Yeah, I thought.
Jim.
I thought, dang, what did I say wrong?
No, you're right.
It is getting so
Sorry.
But I know he will treat you with respect, and it just needs to be a mutual thing. It needs to be a family. I know Cindy and I, we always try to make decisions together, and but she always relies on me to make the heavy decisions, because if there's a screw up, then it's always my fault, and she's released from all responsibility. She says, it's Robert's fault, he done it.
Diplomatic community.
So, it's
a partnership.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And it's hard, I think, sometimes if you're a strong personality, it's hard to not be in charge.
Because Cindy kind of has a strong personality sometimes.
But it's like the freedom comes in releasing it to him, because I don't have to worry about it. It's not my responsibility. And so it's like there is such freedom in releasing that and being in submission to him and allowing him to lead. And we've struggled with that for several years. I mean, and
I'd say it's in the last probably 6 or 7 years, like it's been better, don't you think?
It's about the last 10.
Oh,
yeah.
Better than I thought.
It's been a whole decade.
but we struggled with that just because I hadn't learned that, and when we went through some counseling, it was like, they said, just give it up, you'll feel so much better, and it was great. So, that's important, a lot of times to just allow the husband to lead, even though you may not think he knows what he's doing.
You might know he doesn't.
You hear that,
know
Jim? All right. Well, thank you, guys.
Well, congratulations, you guys, and we'll be praying for y'all.
Well, yeah, one more.
One more.
My grandpa always told, my grandpa said the way he handled Granny when they got married was he had a mule, and this mule pulled the wagon on the way home from the wedding. Well, the mule balked on him. He said, that's one. They went a little farther and it balked again. He said, that's two. So he got to go a little farther and it did it again. He just pulled his gun and shot the mule. And Granny turned at him, looked at him and said, what'd you do that for? And he said, that's one. That's how he took control of his marriage.
I see. Has that worked with Marina, Charlie?
I never had the guts to try it.
All right.